Hello everybody, Isabella from Prior Tire, and today we have a toofer, two for the price of one. So my husband Lucas is joining me as we are preparing for the Dickensian Ball in Buxton. This is an annual thing, so we are here quite a lot. It's a lovely little town. And today we are looking at women's 50s, so second part of the 50s, because I've got the crinoline cage, and Lucas is slightly more conservative, I think, sort of beginning of 50s, late 40s, and his stuff, which is not very unusual to cling on to the ages by, especially as you've an older husband.
Older gent, what can you do?
Well, to be honest, it would be unusual for me as well, to cling on a little bit to the fashions from my youth. I'm 50 now, so theoretically,
Surely not.
fashions from my youth, with 20s, that's quite alarming, to be honest. But we'll see. So we are starting. I must apologise first of all that I'm wearing completely wrong chemise. I grabbed the wrong chemise for the evening. Didn't realise it was the wrong one. Fortunately, we have a Edwardian shoot tomorrow, so I've got an Edwardian one. So just imagine you have a different one with little sleeves on. But that was the only one I had. Obviously, I've got my little split choice and stockings on. Lucas has his socks and his trousers. Trousers at that time are quite generic. That was quite alarming too. Quite generic, straight cut, and braces are very much worn, especially as beautiful as these ones from Papilionaceous.
Papilionaceous do wonderful things.
So if you can spin around.
Indeed.
So it's quite high-waisted with darts at the back. So you get the nice bit of a bum here. And a dress shirt with pleated front. You have at that point for evening either white or black cravat, both are sort of correct. The completely white bow tie comes a little bit later, but no more of the early extravaganza of the 30s and early 40s when you have lots of colour. It's getting really quite dull, to be honest, at that point. So when Lucas is starting to put his on. Good luck without a mirror. You have a mirror there if you need to go there. So he's going to knot his stub in. I'm just going to let my corset a little bit tighter. This is the same corset you've seen before. So that's 50s. Quite revolutionary because of the newly invented busk. I'm going to adjust bits and pieces here. The dress I'm wearing today I made a few years ago, about 4 or 5 years ago, for a model actually, for my Victorian Dressmaker 3, which is coming up next year. But the fabric was so lovely that I sort of kept it thinking, oh, I will wear it at some point, So finally the time has arrived and I'm going to wear it. Unfortunately, 4 years ago I was a little bit slimmer than I am now. So I'm hoping I can fit into it. Fortunately, it has a lacing panel at the back, so I can lace over without any problems, I think. I hope. Skirt, we'll see. I told you he's going to need that mirror. Oh, it's almost there.
Also, just checking.
Let's check. Do you have any pin to it?
So yes, I'm going to add a small pin to this. You can see I've done a standardish bow, and by folding over the larger flap, I can pin that in place, which will secure the bow tie nicely and also give it a nice symmetry.
As I'm going to be cheeky and take off my straps from my corset, mostly because the gown is quite low on the shoulders and I don't want the straps to hang even too low, so I'm going to just tuck them inside the corset at the back and go at the front. So they're not really necessary for holding things up. The corded corset provides quite a lot of support, surprisingly actually, but it's quite nice. That's the same one from the Victorian Dressmaker one, pattern from Atelier Sylph. Find them on Etsy. They have an absolutely amazing collection of patterns based on historical corsetry. So really worth looking into it. Right, well it's winter and it's raining quite heavily at the moment, so I'm just dreading it. Unfortunately, we don't have far to go, but I'm going to add my Modesty petticoat. Hopefully that will keep me a little bit warm on the way in. And if I'm not going to be dancing too much due to ankle injury, so I'm not too worried about being too hot. But knowing me, I might be starting dancing too much. There's a couple of dances I spotted during the rehearsal that didn't really involve a lot of prancing around, so I might have a stab at these.
Never mind about that. Let's have a look at this pin. There we go. Nice pearl pin, or pearl headed pin. It's gold and holds the bow tie in place nicely.
Right, next up for Lucas is going to be shoes, and we have quite nice shoes with that button up. So we need button hook. Not enough, so you can sit and do his while I'm putting my cage on. So that's my brand new cage. There's a separate video going on making one of these. I just finished it yesterday, mostly because I realised I always thought, oh, I've got the dress, I might have problems fitting into it, but I've got the dress, and then I realised I sold all my crinoline cages that were round, so I only had elliptical ones. So I made these ones. So it's its debut today. Should we go up? I'm sorry about the smell. Okay. So that's my cage. I'm going to be not ideal filming this way, but we'll do. Again, for the petticoats and cage, I like them being just slightly lower than the waist, so that they do not add on bulk there. I might need to readjust my wiring a little bit for the first one, while Lucas is struggling with his boots.
Oh, the struggle is real, but these are marvellous. Without one of those, that takes a long time. With, matter of moments.
So, if you could direct the camera slightly better to see, to show my crinoline cage. I quite like the forest green colour of it all, and I quite like the gathered bit. That was a little bit of a departure from my usual style, but that worked quite well, so it should be okay with anything else. And I really like the thin covered wire from Farting Girls in Canada, so that's all covered. So right, what's next for Lucas? Waistcoat, I think.
Indeed. In this case, a silk waistcoat, which you can see I've worn before.
Yes,
not its first outing. This is a very fine grained fabric.
So that's silk fade.
Mm-hmm.
That's very finely gripped, and you have some
blended with welted pockets.
Yes, so that's welted pockets, a little bit stressed, and the back you start seeing sliders at that time at the back instead of lacing. And again, the cream waistcoats start being very cream or white or ivory, started being very popular for the evening wear, as opposed to much more colourful waistcoats earlier on.
A big contrast with the day wear waistcoats as well,
yes.
As you get later into this century. The collars are very different feel, different shape and so on.
Yes, so we have this one, that's quite nice.
This is very much a white tie look. Not too dissimilar.
Wondering if that's the right waistcoat that I planned for, but I think it is.
Not too dissimilar to what you might find elsewhere.
Oh, we found the buttons! Oh, we were wondering where the buttons on the back of the trousers were, so I had to add some new ones that are a little bit incongruous. The pocket is sticking out.
Indeed, pocket there.
So we found the buttons. For me, I think I'm going to get and put my petticoat on. So that's my normal petticoat. I could put one or two petticoats, but obviously it's not really needed for the day. That should be enough. And I just put button on the hoop. So it's just below the waist. And now I think a longer, wait, let's see the skirt closer. So that's an absolutely amazing fabric. I was very, very lucky to have. It's silk taffeta with satin stripes. So it's beautifully woven. And hopefully it sort of fits. There is a button with a loop at the back, Lucas. Let me position it. I just had a Mexican, so maybe.
Dinner before this might have been the wrong thing to do. Hang on.
Well, I did have a dinner.
That's easy enough.
Okay, so.
Fits wonderful. There we go.
Does it overlap? Does it show?
Overlaps 1 moment.
Overlap a bit.
Make sure that it does overlap properly.
It can be shortened if necessary, but I think it's. Right, so that's not too bad. The tedious part for Lucas is going to be lacing this one. As you can see, we have hand-stitched lacing bits, not a lot of them, so that edge is boned. And we have a sort of modesty panel, which was very much now, as and then, a way of somehow enlarging the circumference of the garment. So you have it threaded through one side here, and you can thread it crisscross.
Okay.
Let's have a look, make sure everything else is. Could you unbutton this, please?
I can indeed.
I think we need to lower my straps.
Do 2 if you like.
Yeah.
Fine. Shoulders.
So
Let's get these the right
I
way.
will put some photos of Julie, the model I made the dress originally to model for the book. She's a marvellous athlete, a Paralympian, and a friend of mine. A daughter of my seafood from Kung Fu days.
Sprinter and shot putter and all sorts.
So yeah, sprinter, shot putter. So, and she looked absolutely gorgeous in it. I will put some photos here so you can have a look and appreciate. Because she looks much better in it than I'm going to.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Well, she's younger for
She looks lovely, but so do you.
a change. But that fabric is just glorious. I'm not sure if I can. I will have to sell it because it's not really fitting right, but it's nice. I must say, having worn this morning early 50s dress, which in winter means several layers of petticoat, do check out that video. Having a crinoline cage really frees you quite a lot from all the burden of corded petticoat and snatched petticoats or horsehair petticoats, where crin originally meant horsehair really. So that is quite a lightness on your feet, which might be quite useful for dancing.
The ball, definitely good, because also you're not carrying all those extra layers that keep you warm.
There is that.
You're going to be getting warm enough as it is, I think.
That's true, even if I'm not dancing much, so we'll have a look. I'm dreading to walk with my dancing pumps over, so I might wear the shoes I have at the moment, just slight heel. I'm not very comfortable with a damaged ligament, but I will just pack my dancing slippers with me, because otherwise they're just going to be completely soaked and possibly snowed on as we are leaving, because we have some snow forecast.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to have a pocket here. Amazing.
All this and pockets. What more could you want?
This dress was also made based on an original item in, I think, Norwegian Museum or Swedish Museum. Again, I will post a photo, which sports this unusual sort of self-ribbon decoration. Ooh. Okay, the moment of truth has come. Will it lace over?
So far, so good.
Okay.
Marzipan's doing its job.
That's
Maybe
right.
a little more tension. Entirely comfortable, but we're getting there. Yes,
Oh,
there
no,
we go.
fine.
So, how does that feel?
That's okay. How does it look?
So, how's it look? So far, looking good. Just covering nicely. I think another 1/4 inch.
All right, I can do
for
compliment.
absolute
I don't think my
certainty.
corset laces any further than that,
No,
unfortunately.
it's fine.
So that's it.
But,
It was quite interesting making the bodice of this dress, mostly because the back and side panels are joined not in a curve, but in a step curve. So you have straight and then the curve. So that's something different that I was trying for this one. You see that quite a lot at the original items from that era. I actually have a bodice from that era with that exact feature. That's why I was trying to replicate that. Oh, isn't that taffeta superb?
It is.
I have just enough to maybe make a waistcoat. I'm not sure if I can see.
Well, if you turn around, I'll
The
point in the
little-
right direction. Hang on.
Okay, the little
There we
feature
are.
when the two panels
Keep looking. Here we go.
are joined.
There we go. The panels work.
Oh yeah, this panel is joined here. So there's a little step joined instead. It's a tiny thing, but it's a little bit trickier from dressmaking point of view.
Your chemise a little.
So I thought I will. That's not chemise. That's a lace from this one.
Oh, lace from this. Very
Okay.
nice. There's also some chemise.
So I think I'm all right now. I admit I don't have a lot of blingy items. I'm not a jewellery person, but I've got a few just for events like that. And obviously I'm not very good at putting them on. So, right. So this style of tails started getting in sort of the late 30s, beginning of 40s, a little bit shorter. I think this one has been sat on, with the ends just pleated to. This is all made in wool superfine, so very heavily fulled merino wool, so that you can leave the edges cut. So that's how you get the exact sort of sharpness of the suit. And that wool has been used the same for Regency suit and earlier ons. It is expensive, but it is worth
Worth it.
every penny. We have a double-breasted style, and again this cut here is very, very typically 40s, beginning of 50s. You see it later on as well, but that's not too shabby for an old man.
Have to do. I'm
He's
afraid.
not that old. Okay, so if you can do this bit for me. So the cut of that, that's a bit too tight.
That's right, you need to-
The cuts of that waistcoat, trousers and coat will be in the Dundee Through the Ages book that I've been working on for the last 4 years now. And it will be coming up in 2027, I think. I don't think I can manage it any earlier. The Victorian Dressmaker 3 evening gowns are coming next spring. So probably not. I've got quite a lot for Victorians. I've got a few things for Georgians. I still need to do quite a lot of medieval stuff and some Tudor.
I have no idea how this works.
Oh, maybe I was not that
well,
crap with
sorry,
it.
no, I do see how it works. The end is very clever. Cunning, in fact.
I'm not sure if I feel secure with him fiddling around with a very tight necklace on my neck.
It's an unusual closure as well. There we
Okay,
go.
as long as I'm not
Perfect.
garroted.
Perfect. There we go.
Brilliant. Okay, do you have anything else for the evening?
My hat. To go out.
Do you have any gloves?
I can't take gloves with me. But,
I've got gloves on
I need to wear them at the
myself,
moment.
and I need a headdress. Oh, what is my garter doing in my headdress?
Well,
I'm not going to answer that question. So this kind of style was very, very popular. You had just decorative band that just sits theoretically prettily over your ears.
a little bit.
You might not be able to hear much, which might be a blessing.
Well, depends who's talking. If it's me, then yes.
And these kind of headdresses with flowers, with fake fruit, with lots of ribbons, were very, very popular. I think I forgot the name, the hat lady, portraits, out of the portrait hat. Again, I will try to, ouch!
All right.
I'll try
Sticking
to
out of the
tag her
back.
here. She's just sorted out and published a pattern for a ribbon covered sort of nice triangular headdress with ribbon sides. So that's something that will be quite pretty. And this one is really easy and kind of cute. I've got short gloves. Long gloves are coming up later on. In 50s you still have quite short gloves. These ones are These ones are quite different, but will do. Kid gloves.
Clanging noise with our new metal hat box. Very happy about it.
They're kid gloves, and one is different than the other, and unfortunately I have two left ones, so I might need to rethink.
As long as you don't have two
gloves.
left feet, that's fine.
I will check if I have some more gloves. I probably have. And I have a little fan, and I think all we need is our escapes, and we can go to the ball. We'll put some. I forgot to iron these ones. I'll
Only
put
wear
some
this indoors, but
photos
just in case.
later, and I'll see if I can dance a couple of waltzes at least without any further damage to my ankle. So I hope you've enjoyed that dual show. Any questions? Comment. Cheers.
Half a two-hand turn. Keep the setting close together so it's easier. And come back. 1 to 2, circle 4. One's lady and 3 lady turn. Gentlemen, round you go. Circle of men. Gentlemen, fall back, make the triumph hold. Triumph comes forwards. And back. Forwards. And back, then face your own partner. One's leading to the bottom. Two-hand turn for the ones at this time. Everyone else, get ready to start again. Set towards your partner and two-hand turn to change. Setting. Change back. 1 to 2, circle. Ladies twirl. Men, take your time to admire them twirling as you get there. Circle men. Men fall back. Form the triumph. Present the lady. Men face your own partner. One's lead to the bottom. Others move up. Penultimate time through, I think. Setting. Slowly to the left.